welcome to the Hudson Valley Knits podcast. I am Amy. I am known as Memers on Instagram, on Ravelry, and I am Memers66 on Instagram. I am coming to you on Sunday, March 29th. I am podcasting right now in my office of my home. For those who are new here, thanks for checking me out. I really appreciate it. You might be confused by the title. I am from the Hudson Valley, but I've been living here in St. Louis, Missouri for almost like a year and a half now. So that's why I decided to keep the Hudson Valley Knits title. So, but and this is episode 116. So anyway, I have, like many of you probably, been comforting myself with knitting and other various things, activities that give me comfort. It's unprecedented, trying times for the whole world right now, and I'm thinking of all of you. And I'm loving the togetherness that we're managing to keep up through virtual knit groups, which I've been doing, which I'm sure some of you have been doing, and communicating with our families. I'm very grateful for the internet right now. If this had happened like 20 years ago, it would have been a whole different ballgame. I would not have been able to work from home. I would not have been able to see my children and my parents and my family and friends that mean so much to me. So this could have been worse, but it's still terrible. And so I don't want to dwell on it too much. I really want to lift you up by sharing with you what I've been working on and what I finished. And so let me start by, I am wearing my Kate Davies cardigan. It's Kaniche. I don't know if, I have no clue if I'm saying it right. This is from, this is made with her Donegal tweed yarn. And because it's a little nippy here today. Yesterday, I think the temperature went as high as 80. And today it's in the 50s. It's really strange, so. So let me start with my one and only finished object is my Almost Maya mitts. So these are a pair of mitts I really kind of created around the yarn. So there was no real pattern for it, although it was inspired by the Maya mitts by Romy Hill. I wanted something similar to that. I really wanted to knit that, but the gauge for this Angora Merino blend that I had was the yarn was too heavy for that particular pattern, the way it was written. So what I did is I took her stitch pattern, which is like a broken rib pattern, and I started it top down, the way she did her pattern as well. And I knit the first one, and then I just went to my Stitch Dictionary and chose what I thought was a pretty simple but nice lace border to put near the end. So these lovely, soft, luxurious mitts came out beautiful. They're not perfect, but I had to change the whole stitch count and figure it out. And I remember I showed you on the last podcast that one of the thumbs, the first glove, I had wished I had made a little longer, and also I did the thumb decreases too quickly. And it really hit home when I was knitting the second one, which this is the second one. And those I accidentally added spaced the decreases for the thumb gusset further apart, And when I tried it on, it just fit so much better. And so I took, this is the initial one, I ripped it out to right here and reattached the thumb and spaced out the decreases further, and then I also made it just a little longer so it covered my wrists well. And if I so choose, I can fold it up now and it looks really nice. It's still long enough if I want to fold up the cuff due to maybe what I'm wearing, like if I'm wearing something that has, you know, sleeves that go further down. But these mitts were made with the intention, I won't be wearing these outside. I might wear them in the office if it's cold, but usually in the office it's very warm. But sometimes in the house they get cold. So these will be strictly for in-house so they don't get dirty. It's really, you know, it's a beautiful white yarn and I don't want that to happen to it. Yeah, so this is something I am super happy with and I just love them. Yeah, so these are my one finished object. I have, I really have been knitting a lot, but this is the only finished object. So my second, I'm not sure where I was 2 weeks ago when I showed this to you. I think I had finished the color work yoke, but this is my Lovage by Marie Wallen, made entirely with my stash of 2-ply Shetland wool that I have. I have quite a bit actually. Some I got in a trade from someone who was cleaning up their stash. Some is left over from projects. But I really had so much to choose from. And I'm going to take this one. You see? So yeah, I chose the colors. I tried to make them all colors that would complement, but you know, kind of go with each other. But I also wanted some that kind of stood out. So I have this here, and I put some yellow in here. And I really love this bottom band and the colors that and how they worked out for that. But yeah, the whole yoke part is done, and I would say I have roughly 4 inches of the body done. Still has to go quite a bit more. This is right where the top of my belt is, so you know, I would like it down to here, and then I'll do the ribbing. So, you know, pretty long and baggy sweater. And then, of course, I still have to do the sleeves. The sleeves will have this color repeat on it and then plain stockinette. So, you know, I've been working from home for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks, yeah. And I might, this is something that I might pick up while I am on a conference call where I'm more non-participatory, like I'm listening in and I don't have to take notes or participate. Yeah, so I might pick this up and do a couple of, you know, half a round, whatever. But aside from that, it hasn't been getting much time and attention. It was my main knit night project too. We've been doing virtual knit nights since we can't meet in public right now. And I've actually been doing virtual knit nights with my friends from New York. So I have a knitting circle here in St. Louis of wonderful ladies. And I also have all my old friends from New York who I miss so terribly. And I was supposed to go home in April. I was going to be home on Easter Day to have dinner at my mother-in-law's, and I was going to go to a tarot conference in April that's been canceled. And honestly, Um, the couple that runs it every year is very, very sick with the virus. And, you know, I don't want to talk about it. All right. Back up. All right. Oh, I forgot. I do have another finished object. This is not a whip. This is a finished object. I finished my Arising socks. And they're just a wee bit too tight, but not that bad. So here they are. This is knit with the yarn that Helen from Sprite 966, Knit with Sprite, I think is the name of her podcast. She gifted this to me, or I won it on her podcast, and I put some of this gold that I had left over from another pair of socks, and I really love them. So just a little tight, I had to kind of tug and pull a little to get them on over my heel, but once they're on, they fit nicely. I have not given them a bath, but that's okay. I think wool sock season is kind of over here. I am in the Midwest. I am in St. Louis, and it's a little milder here than it was in New York. So yeah, it's definitely spring. Although today I can definitely get away with wearing wool socks, but for what? I don't need them because I'm not going outside much. I'm even like kind of cautious about going for walks, and the reason being is my husband is asthmatic, and they just know so little about this virus that I don't want to risk anything, because my world would fall apart if I lost my husband. I just don't know what I would do. So I'm not taking any chances, and I'm being overcautious, but yeah, I don't mind. Yep. Arising socks. Really wonderful. This was the first project I finished after the official quarantine of our city, which happened, I think, only a week ago, but it feels like a year ago. All right. So this is a good time to segue into the next project. My husband and I, like I said, some might consider us extremely overcautious, and that's okay. We are being overcautious. We're doing things that even they're saying won't make a difference, but we're not taking the chance. And one of the things we're doing is, obviously, we've had to go out to go shopping, whatever. We've had to leave the house, and I have gone for walks. I wear a mask, though. I cover my face. Just for an extra precaution. And when I come back, or when either one of us comes back from being out and about, we take all our clothes off and our jackets or whatever we're wearing, and throw them in the wash, and then go upstairs and take a shower. Actually, we come in, we take off our shoes. We wash our hands. Then we go throw our clothes in the wash, and then we go upstairs and take the shower. Eventually, we even spray a bleach mixture that we made ourselves, 1 ounce bleach to 16 ounces of water in a spray bottle, and that's what we've been sanitizing with, and we spray the bottom of our shoes, just if you want to be overcautious too. So what happened was, I went for a walk. It was cold. I was wearing my favorite pair of fingerless mitts, and I threw them in the wash. They were in the pocket of my jacket. And I didn't know it until I pulled them out of the dryer. So these were made with scraps of mostly Madeline Tosh yarn, all the colors, and then the white is just Shetland 2-ply wool. And they are very felted. Now, I was able to get them on, and hardly on. Oh, wait. So I can get them on. They're very fitted, and I'm hoping, I definitely can't wear my engagement ring, because it just won't go in with that ring on, because, it sticks out. But one of them seems tighter than the other as well. So I can get them on, and they're going to be much warmer this way because they're so tighter now, and they're not as long up the finger, which they were like kind of up to here. So, I mean, I can still get some use out of these. I think maybe if I keep wearing them, they might stretch out even a little bit more than they are now. But I was very upset. And I felt like I needed another go-to pair of fingerless mitts that are easier to get on and off, and that I can wear my jewelry underneath. And I thought about going through my I have a huge basket, I don't have it up here, of fingering weight scraps that I could go through and pick out a nice, you know, blend of colors to make a new one just like this, because this is the windmill, I want to say windmill fingerless socks. I'm looking on Ravelry, so if I look like I'm doing something, it's because I'm recording this on my computer, but I'm also right now looking on my computer so I can get you this pattern name. It's not incredibly popular. Oh, they're called Pinwheel Mitts by Ella Austin. It's a great pattern. I made a pair for my sister as well. And yeah, I think, you know, I have tons of also, as well as my Jamieson and Smith or Jamieson 2-ply Shetland wool. I also have a lot of Knit Picks palette. And tons. It's not in my, it's just tons, bags. One of these days I gotta get a camera and show you. I think I showed you my Shetland wool stash. I took a picture of it on my bed, didn't I? A couple of episodes ago when I was picking colors for the Lovage. So anyway, I decided not to do the pinwheel. I decided to do a different one that is also color work that has been in my queue forever. So many people have made it and I love it, and I tell you, I did the first mitt in like 2 days. It is the Underwing mitts by, where are they from? Did I write it down? I didn't write it down, but I have the pattern here. The Underwing mitts are by Erica Heuser, or Heusser. Here's my first one. I think it's the left hand. So you can see I have my ring on. I can still get this on. It goes down really nice. I made it a little longer, so if I followed the pattern, it would have ended down here. Actually, it would have ended right there. So it would have been, I did an extra repeat of these circles. So I would have started the ribbon down here. It probably would have been about this long, which barely got to my, you know, the base of my fingers. I really wanted it to go to the, like, the middle knuckle for me is perfect, but it didn't, and that's okay. It's a little lower than I would have liked. I was thinking maybe I should have done the ribbing a little longer, but I didn't. Here's this side. You can kind of see the colors really good there on the thumb side. Yeah, so this is the color. It's a charcoal gray and white, but this is the color I took from my stash to do the detail on the wings. It's a lot more orange than you're seeing. It looks really, this is more accurate back here. It's more orange. It's very rusty orange with blues and greens and even some pinks in there, speckled in. It's a beautiful, beautiful blend. It's a Jamieson color. I duplicate stitched it. What I did while I was knitting is I just put a marker around, you know, one of those, yeah, one of these around the stitch, not in it, around it, and just kept knitting. So I had the first stitch that had to be duplicate stitched marked, and from there, kind of like counted cross stitch, I just kind of figured out all the rest. But it was hard because I knit the background in trickle. It was hard to find the stitch in there. It was like, because it's so dark, it blended. I had to I have this magnifying light here. I had to come up and use that. But I wish I had done it by just holding a third color. It would have been fine. I wish I had done that, but I didn't, and I have to knit the second one the same way. I have started the second one last night while we were binge watching. We're still watching Supernatural. We're in episode 13. So here is the front and what I've gotten done so far of the second one. Yeah. So these are flying off the needles. I'm really loving it. And now I have another pair of go-to mitts. Now, I posted this on Facebook, a picture, actually. I posted it with a picture of this moon card from my favorite tarot deck, Tarot of Prague, because it just fits, right? Because you got the moon here. Anyway, a couple of my girlfriends from New York that I used to hang out with once in a while, they are tarot friends. Like, we all have tarot in common. One of them were like, oh, I love, I have to have it. So I know she's not watching this, but I'm seriously thinking, because it's pretty fast knit, and I have tons of yarn for it. I think I might knit a pair for her and my other friend who are in New York, who I miss terribly. I haven't seen since before I moved. And surprise them with it. And actually, the one who said that comment, she's Wiccan. That's her religion, and so these would be very appropriate for her. I know she would really appreciate it with the moon and all that. So I think I might make these as a gift for them, but I would have to have one myself. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be able to go there in October for Rhinebeck, Lord willing, if all goes well and we make it through this terrible, terrible thing we're all going through. Maybe I can give it to them in person. Otherwise, I would probably mail it to them. So that is a whip that will definitely be an FO next time. And this is also in the bag that Helen made me, that I got with the yarn that the socks are knit with. I also won this bag along with it, which I absolutely love. Thank you again, dear Helen. All right, so let me put this away. I gotta throw all my pattern stuff in it. What else do I have on the needles? Oh, yes. So I do have Cable Bliss on the needles. Now, I know I have knit more on it than since I talked to you, but lately it hasn't gotten the most attention, but we're getting there. And I will put a marker on it, and I will probably, I did put a marker on it. Okay, so this is, I'm still using just the first color. And this is a marker that I have here so that next time I podcast, we can see if how much I've gotten done on this. Because it's hard to tell since it's a nice potato chip knit. It's something you can do and easily memorize. And it's just really, really subtly beautiful. And I can't wait to see how it looks when I get the other colors into it. I really am looking forward to it. This is La Bien Aimée singles. And here's the first color I'm working on now. I still have, it says to start blending the next color when you have 20 grams left. And I still have almost 50 grams left. So I have a ways to go before I start striping in the next color. But hopefully I'll have that started when I podcast again so that you can see how it looks. That's in the Amy Beth bag. Alright, so that I think is my final kind of project, but I am going to share with you something that I've been mostly working on. This is I don't know why, but I feel like with what's going on, I need mindless meditative knitting, and I need something to be a kind of a testament of this period of time of seclusion and forced seclusion, but almost while it's for a terrible reason, it could be an opportunity for some self-healing and reflection. And a way of memorializing. I know this sounds weird to you, I'm sorry, but I feel like I have to do this because by doing this, I'll remember everyone that doesn't make it through this or that suffers great loss, because I am very aware that while I sit here tra-la-laing about knitting and stuff, some of you don't know how you're going to buy groceries today because you lost your job, and I get it, and I don't know what else to do, but this is a way to remember how fortunate I am that I can still work and that I'm still getting a paycheck, and those who aren't as fortunate. So I've been working a lot on blankets. Here is and I'm going to start tracking like new squares. I'm actually kind of in the midst of a square here. When let's see, I think I haven't shown this to you in a while. This is one that I knit with yarn from my friend Ellen. She's a friend here in St. Louis. She finished I think it was a shawl. It came out beautifully, and I love this yarn, so she let me take home what was left and knit a square with it. And then these are all just scrap yarns. I've knit this whole row since quarantine. Aside from this one, all of this, from the yellow to this blue, have been knit under quarantine. I've been trying to do one a day, but you know, it doesn't always work out that way, but that's one thing. The other thing is this scrap blanket, the granny square blanket that I'm working on. I am almost done with my March square. Let me show that to you. I just have to finish this one color, the brown on the top here. It's officially not just a scrap blanket anymore, so I was struggling with the limited palette, let me move this, of my worsted weight scrap stash, because most of it are shades of blue or brown, or like this reddish brown, but they all were blending together, and I needed more variety of colors. So I did order from Knit Picks, and I did order it right before the proverbial stuff hit the fan, and everything started shutting down. I ordered 3 variety packs of, well, actually 2 variety packs of their Wool of the Andes, which this one is one of them. Wool of the Andes is a great worsted weight yarn. It is just a great worsted weight yarn. It's a great sweater yarn. It's just a great yarn. So I ordered 2 from there of various different color palettes. One's a bright color and one are soft heathered colors, to mix up my squares a little. And I also ordered a pack of the black worsted weight. Wool of the Andes because that's going to be my border color, all the squares. So I did post my squares. Here are the other two. There's this one, and here's this one. I did put these up on my Ravelry group. There's a Ravelry group, Hudson Valley Knits, where I thought it might be a fun idea to do like swaps. And I'm still willing to do that, but I don't seem to be getting any responses or interest. So I'm just going to hang on to the squares until it's time to sew them together, and if nobody's interested, then that's fine. It really is fine. I thought it would be nice to share a square or two with other people in the world, but again, it's fine if that's not the case too. But yeah, so I am trying to do 1 square a month. So this is my March square. And I will, again, I'm almost done with it, so I'll probably pick out the colors for April square. I have my whole basket of colors downstairs in our family room. My husband will help me pick them out because he likes to do that kind of stuff. He's really good with colors. All right, and that, my friends, is it. I have to say, I think I have enough projects to work on, and I finished the Arising socks, and I was thinking, you know, what's the next pair of socks I should cast on, and then I thought about, well, I got the mitts going, so maybe I'll just hold off from casting on a pair of socks right now, and finish the mitts, and then decide if I'm going to knit them for my friends as well. That'll be good enough, kind of similar sock knitting. And I have the Cable Bliss is pretty potato chippy, so I don't, you know, and right now I'm not going anywhere, so I don't really need anything portable. And even the squares, the log cabin squares are pretty portable. But I do know I want to use this Stroll sock yarn from my, it's not from my stash. I ordered this as well with the worsted weight stuff, but it's really beautiful. And I've been kind of feeling the urge to knit something tweedy. And it's so soft. It's just Barn Door Heather is the name. And I just can't decide what my next, I also, you know, can't decide what my next sock pattern's going to be. I can't make up my mind. I don't prefer to knit socks that have a lot of lacy pattern to them. I have a ton of, I'll tell you what my problem is. I really want to knit like every pattern from Helen Stewart's Sock Society, I think it's called, she calls it. And I have bought her pattern packages from every single one of them. And I don't think there's a pair of her socks I don't want to knit. The problem is I hate her pattern format. I don't like that line-to-line stuff. It's not helpful for me. It's like, please, Helen, add a chart option. Let us people that want to just see the chart knit from the chart. And then you can do that line-by-line stuff for everyone else that seems to like it. And it's fine. I'm not complaining. I still want to knit them, but every time I look at them, I'm like, oh, I gotta read through this and chart it out, and then to really be sure I don't miss anything, I have to read every god darn line. And honestly, that's kind of ruins it for me. I don't want, then I'm like, well, there must be something else I want to knit. And all those Helen Stewart patterns stay in my queue. But right now, I'm thinking because they're beautiful. And I really am dying to knit. What was the one? It's from last year's. Let me look at my queue. It's from last year's Sock Society, I think. I think it's called... Oh, no, I can't remember. Nope, that's not it. Oh, sorry. I know it'll take you too long. Oh, I know. Winter rose socks. Yeah, that's what I want to knit next. I really do. They have some eyelet detail, but I think it'll be all right in the tweed. And I tend to not like eyelet detail, but the twisted has like twisted stitches and stuff in it. I think it's going to be fine. I think I'm going to like it just fine. And with a plump enough yarn, the eyelets, they aren't crazy, and there's some cables. I just want to knit it so bad. And I hate the thought of having to print out 16 pages on my printer. It's such a waste. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through it on my computer and write the chart out and ad-lib the instructions that I need. And I'll probably just take the stitch count in the pattern and follow it for the size I need, and just do a heel flap and gusset like I know. It's how I knit socks. But this won't be right away because, like I said, I want to knit the mitts, but that's probably what my next pair of socks will be. And that is it, I guess, for now. I just hope that you all are staying safe, and, you know, everything's happening so fast that who knows what's the world's going to be like the next time I podcast. And I really am having a hard time with this, especially with everyone I love in New York. And it's just, I'm really worried about some really important people in my life. And I wonder if any of us will not be affected or by loss to some degree from all this. But I continue to pray for all of you, your safety, your happiness, and your well-being. And I'm doing what I can to help locally. Those who can't buy food right now, that's what I'm trying to focus on as a form of gratitude for my, my conditions right now, which are very, very, very good considering what most people are going through. Well, that's it. I guess it's impossible to get through it without talking about it because it's just so real right now. So, anyway, I wanted to, you know what? Would anybody want to do a virtual knit night? I know there's a lot going on, and probably you have them going on with your local friends too, but would any of you want to do just a open virtual knit night on Zoom? I could put a link out there, and it would be just whoever drops in, and hopefully it wouldn't be too big because I don't have a huge following, so it's not, some of them were going on and there were so many people joining in that it was hard to follow, and I'm just not, I can't do that. I mean, I would like no more than 8 people would be really perfect, and 5 or 6 is really ideal because then you can really have conversations. But let me know if anybody's interested in doing that because I can arrange that. So that is it. I thank you all for joining me here, and I wish you all health, happiness, and well-being. All right. Bye-bye now.